It's July 1st, 2019, and let's find out how astute your knowledge of history is. Here's a question for you. What do television antennas and the 4th of July have to do with each other? Well, good question, right? Obviously, television antennas hadn't been invented on the 4th of July, 1776. However, television antennas need grounding. Television antennas themselves are a form of lightning rod. They're usually the largest piece of metal up highest on the roof. And grounding is important so that if they do attract lightning, that lightning passes harmlessly into the earth. The lightning rod, as we understand it today, was actually invented by Benjamin Franklin, who was one of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence. And there you go. That's kind of the interesting thing we've got for you this week on the Solid Signal podcast, that Benjamin Franklin actually was the one who kind of thought of how antennas are going to go up on roofs safely. Grounding was incredibly important in the 18th century, even more than it is today, because back then, of course, everything was made of natural materials, mostly wood, and roofs were made out of grass, and a fire could spread from one end of a city to another just like that. And keep in mind, there were no fire departments back then. There was no water system. There was no, none of that. Basically, if a fire came, you had to get water from a nearby lake or a pond or even a big cistern. By the time you did that, you probably had lost your house. Here in the United States, a lot of houses were built in forests, which also kind of helped to spread that fire quite a bit. Grounding, as I said, was extremely important, and the coming of the lightning rod was such an incredible thing that it made Benjamin Franklin a star worldwide. He was arguably sort of the United States' first rock star. He was, the ambassador, as it were, because everybody knew him. Everybody knew what he'd invented, and the science that he'd created is stuff that we still use today. He established a firm link between static electricity and lightning. He did not discover electricity, which he is often credited with doing. Electricity had been known forever, honestly. But what he understood by trying an experiment which was in itself so dangerous that it's rarely been duplicated without extreme harm to the people who try it, is that lightning is a form of electricity. That lightning is a static discharge, just like the static discharge that you get if you rub your feet on a carpet long enough and then touch a metal doorknob. It's exactly the same thing, but larger, and it is the masses of air that come together that create that static discharge. A static discharge which has to go somewhere and is going to go to the most attractive thing that it can find. Not necessarily the highest, but the thing that is most attractive, least resistive, and that's going to usually be an antenna up on your roof. So this July 4th, before you go out and kind of barbecue and watch fireworks and spend the day with family and stuff like that, think for a second about how your home is grounded. It's very simple, by the way, to run a ground wire from your antenna to either a breaker box or a cold water pipe or a ground rod. A lot of these things depend on your local ordinances and what you are required to do in order to properly ground, but go ahead and do that, because if you don't, well, there's a lot of danger there. Perhaps not as much danger as there was in the 18th century when Benjamin Franklin first created the lightning rod, which was nothing more than a piece of metal and a wire going down to the earth, but still incredible amounts of danger. At the very least, you're going to blow out your home's electrical system. At the most, you're going to burn down everything that you own, and people are going to get hurt or even pass away. Don't do it, friends. Don't do it. Instead, get all the grounding supplies that you need from Solid Signal. Our offices are going to be closed on July 4th, but the website will be open, meaning that you can continue to order stuff. And as soon as the offices open back up, we'll send you everything that you've ordered as quickly as we possibly can. We'd be open for July 4th, but a lot of the shipping services aren't open either, so it's not like that really would help us much at all. That's about it for me for the Solid Signal podcast. I hope you have a great 4th of July. And for our friends in Canada and Mexico celebrate the 4th of July anyway. It's not your own Independence Day, but it is still a great day because every day is a great day to celebrate at Solid Signal. Have a good one.